In the spirit of no forward planning, here we are doing a Necessary Nonsense Podcast Extra while we watch the Sunday Nighter where the Green Bay Packers are beating the New Orleans Saints. Dave wants to distract himself from that, so we're going to be talking the MLB brackets all the way to the end. Live it! Also, if by the time we would have gotten around to actually airing this in the podcast, much of these series would have ended, which means we could have pretended that we totally called that ahead of time. Oh, did you see how can you believe that happened? Oh, the alien invasion right at that moment, just as we predicted. Amazing. Incredible.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
So Dave's got the brackets, and we're going to do this. If you notice my audio is a bit crummy, is because I haven't even connected the microphone. That's how impromptu this whole thing is.
But hey, right? We're going to do it because, reasons.
Well, you need a distraction from this sadness.
And the fact that, by Wednesday, half these things could be over.
Yeah. So this is not going to have very much editing. The usual podcast doesn't have much editing anymore, but this is going to have even less because we're just going to record it as is. It's got the little thing on the bottom, #sponsor us. But outside of that, this will go straight up on the YouTube channel. It will not be on the audio stream. Yet another reason why you should do the video.
Anyway, all right. So first line, AL. Okay, and I'm not even going to say like the numbers of the seeds. We're just going to talk series, and then we'll go to the brackets. So, Jays versus Rays. Carlos?
Yeah, I'm going the Rays. The Jays are too young. It's too soon. It's too early. I will put a caveat on this, though. If there is to be an upset in the sense of the Jays actually doing it, it's going to have to be off the bat of guys like Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who has been coming on late in the season. He did hit his 9th home run today. He is looking better. Like he's finally starting to round into form. That is the one thing that I think the Jays could look at that could be an X factor. If he is going to show that progression we were hoping for this year, but now it's finally kicked in right at the end of the season because he is starting to hit the ball. He was hitting it hard, but he started to hit the ball in the air a little bit. Well, if he hits a couple out, 3-game series, you only need to take 2 random flash wins. And I think Dave mentioned when we were talking about it that the normal schedule of like day on, day off apparently is not the case. It's like bang, bang, bang. Like a 3-game series, like a normal regular season kind of deal.
Yep. So if you start on Tuesday, the series are over by the end of Thursday, no matter what.
Yeah. So you basically don't have a lot of the options, and this is critical to some of the picks I'm going to make after. You don't have the normal managerial options of being like, start your starter in game 1, try to minimize their pitch count in case you need to bring them in later in the series. Well, you've only got three games potentially, and you're trying to win 2. So if you really put all your eggs in the basket to try to win game 2 to quote unquote sweep a team, then you leave yourself into this problem where now you don't have them for game 3 because you just used it. You used all your weapons that you had into trying to take care of that second game. If you go to a third game, all of a sudden you got some very interesting managerial choices to make. I'll pick the Rays because they're more ready. That's the reason why.
Yeah, I think this series is going to go I think it's going to go 3. I think the Jays will take a game, but I do believe that I also agree with you that the Tampa Bay Rays are going to win for the reasons you have suggested.
Yeah, they should be better equipped. Like right now, the Rays are better equipped theoretically to go a couple of rounds and make it interesting for themselves.
Yeah. All right. Second one. Actually, we'll stay within the bracket then. Mm-hmm. All right. And we'll just finish out the bracket then, I guess, the way we'll do it. Okay. Yankees versus the Carloses. Sorry, I mean the Clevelands. The C just threw me off there, Carlos.
It was incredible. And like I mentioned, Dave, the first time, if in the same vein as the Indians had once been the Cleveland Naps, if they were the Cleveland Carloses, they'd have won 6 straight World Series championships. But I don't think this is the time for Cleveland. I expect the Yankees have been like close a couple of times, and they can blame the Astros cheating as much as they want. If you're that much better, you should have won. So you've had the opportunities to do that. I feel like they need to validate their entire whining argument. They can't go out in the first round to Cleveland. They need to actually win this series. I think the Yankees have enough depth to be able to do that, although Shane Bieber is an X factor. But for the reason I mentioned in the Jays series, they may not be able to exploit him fully. Like he'll be there for game 1. And if he wins game 1 and he's brilliant, you're not going to have him for game 2. And you probably can't use him in game 3, really.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting point. I'm curious to see if in some cases that the starters in the first game, depending on how things are going, potentially pitch less innings, for the potential for something, to do some of that kind of stuff in the third game. I don't know, right? Because if Bieber's pitching lights out, and let's say he's pitched 5 lights out,
yeah,
what do you do? Do you take him out, but hey, he's going well? Do you keep him in and ride it.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not sure. But
I think it's
if anyone's going to screw that up, Carlos, it's going to be Dave Roberts.
We'll get to that. It's a valid strategic question. I don't think there's a single manager who is going to stake their career potentially on trying to pull a stunt like that because in that scenario you play out. Let's say
Dave Roberts.
Let's say Bieber is like no hitting them through 5 or one hitting them and like completely dominating. You pull them. The bullpen immediately coughs it up. You've lost game 1. Like you took great effort, but it wasn't a 9-inning effort, and now you're screwed. As opposed to getting a 9-inning effort, winning game 1, and it's like, well, now you got to win 1 of the next 2. I don't think anybody's going to have the guts. If the starter's going, I think they're going to ride him because you've got almost no chance to bring him back for game 2 or game 3. You pretty much have to.
No, I agree with you. It's potential curiosity there.
It's a valid question. You'd have to really get somebody who basically has nothing to lose and is just trying to do it.
I think New York wins this series, but I will always put the caveat out there with New York that they've got to stay healthy because obviously how far they go in this playoffs is extremely heavily dependent on whether they can stay healthy. And if they've proved anything through this season, it's that they can't. So we shall see. But I'm going to pick New York. They are the lower seed. Not that the 4 or 5 seed matchup really matters in that, but I'm going New York.
Yep.
All right. Next series. Okay. Actually, so you're going to finish the bracket. So we both have Tampa Bay and we both have New York. Who wins from Tampa Bay, New York to make the ALCS, Carlos?
Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I agree. So we both have Tampa Bay making it past that to the ALCS.
Yeah. Based on those matchups, I do believe that I think New York will get past the first round, but then I think Tampa Bay is a more complete team. I do believe they have less of those other issues. Like I said, New York is a good team and they can rake in stretches. Like we've seen it. There are stretches where they can be a dominant, they can be a dominant hitting lineup. But the question is like, I could see Giancarlo Stanton getting hurt somewhere between the first and second round, and Aaron Judge getting hurt between the first and second round, and they're out. And then you're relying on DJ LeMahieu, who won the batting title. So like respect. It's not like they don't have good players, but it's like
for sure. All right, Twins versus so this is the second part of the bracket now of the AL teams. Twins versus the Houston Asterix. Yeah, and I will forever call them that now, Carlos.
Yeah, I think this is a case where, like I mentioned to Dave previously, is that this is where the Twins get to capitalize on not having to face the Yankees. For some reason, the Yankees have been their kryptonite in the playoffs the last couple of years. The fact that they're not playing them, I do think that Twins team is pretty solid. I like the Twins in this one. And Houston is still reeling from a lot of the issues they've had. They've never been able to get their act together all season. They're a playoff team, but I think this is where it ends.
All right. Fair enough. I will go with that too. I think the Twins are better than Houston. Especially with the loss of Verlander. If Houston had Verlander in this series, it might be a different story. But basically, Houston is at this point a shell of what they were. Obviously, they still have some great players like Altuve and but no, they don't have it for this series. I think I'm going to give this one. I know I'm not calling this for everything, but I think the Twins are going to win this in 2.
Could be. Like the reality is, like I said, all they got to do is get hot for a couple of games, and they have the pieces. They can play well, and the Twins can put up some runs too. They're very capable. Like Nelson Cruz, at age 40, had himself a pretty darn good season after a really great age 39 season. Like he followed it up with another good season where he was still playing very well at a high level. And I think he knows his time is running out. So I think Nelson Cruz is going to be very motivated to crush some balls.
Yeah. All right. Next part of this bracket, White Sox versus Athletics.
Yeah, the White Sox are young. I like a lot of the pieces. They've all come together all at once, which has been crazy. But I think their guy is still leading the league in RBI. He was just raking for this year. I like White Sox in this one.
All right. I think the White Sox. I like the White Sox, but I think they're still a little bit too young and inexperienced. The A's, despite not having any superstars on their roster, have been consistent all year. They have the number 2, the second best record in the American League. So I'm going to take the A's. So therefore, Carlos, you have a Twins and White Sox ALDS. Who are you picking there?
Twins. For the same reason, I think a lot of those veteran guys know that the time is running out. I think they're going to rally that team and push them. This is the Twins' best opportunity to have a real run. The way this year and this bracket is laid out, this is like their best shot to have a real run.
Okay, and I'm going to take the A's there as well. So we both have Tampa Bay. You have the Twins, and I have the A's. So who are you taking to the World Series, Carlos? Tampa Bay or the Twins?
This is where Tampa runs out. I like them for a lot of the matchups they have. Like I said, I think the Twins ride this all the way to the World Series.
Nice. I like the prediction. I'm going the other way, and I think the A's are riding this all the way to the World Series. So Carlos has Twins. I'm just writing it down so that we obviously will come back to this after the fact. And I have the A's. All right. Over to the National League, my friend, unless you have anything else you want to add on the American League.
No, the American League, I will be very fascinated. These 3-game series are complete crapshoots. To me, they're basically like, I almost treat them like 1-game playoffs because in my mind, they are. Winning 2 games out of 3, any variable could do it. I think you pretty much have to win game 1. I wouldn't want to be trying to win 2 and 3.
No, absolutely. I agree with you absolutely on that one.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be in that position.
Okay, so over in the first bracket, which I think is I for some reason I'm more into the National League bracket than I am into the American League bracket.
Okay.
But let's start with the Dodgers and the Milwaukee Brewers, Carlos. I'm going to pick the Dodgers. I'm a homer. I know that, but I think the talent is just too much there. It's interesting to note that Walker Buehler is going to start game 1 for the Dodgers. And not Clayton Kershaw, even though it's lined up that Kershaw could have started game 1. I just want to put that out there. Obviously, he's going to start game 2 then. That's not any big secret there. I just think, and I'm worried. I always worry about the Dodgers no matter what because, Dave Roberts is making strange decisions, but also because they're the Dodgers and they've had so much heartbreak. And by the heartbreak, I mean, I've had so much heartbreak over the last little while.
Yes.
But I'm going to go with them because I honestly feel that, Milwaukee's strength is their bullpen, and that's really their only strength. And the Dodgers have a great bullpen this year. I think they're better in all phases of the game. And I feel with 3 games, I feel Dave Roberts can't screw this up. Now, I'm fully prepared to eat my words on that, but I am going with the Dodgers in this series.
I think everything you said is perfectly valid, completely reasonable, well thought out, and well positioned. But in the first one, I picked Minnesota in the American League bracket to go to the World Series. Is that a bit of a long shot, a dark horse? Sure. Am I completely out to lunch with nothing that I could potentially base that on? No. This team has a lot of veteran presence, a lot of veteran players and things. They could very well, and they don't have to face the Yankees, at least not right away. That's been their big, kryptonite up until this point, the last couple of years. They've been good teams up until the last couple of years until they ran into the Yankees. It's been consistently their problem. They're not going to have to see that, and if the Yankees do not advance far enough, they won't have to see it. That's huge for them. But for all the reasons outlined, the Dodgers makes complete sense, and I like Walker Buehler. And I think Walker Buehler is the future of that team as far as the rotation is concerned. I think Kershaw still has a lot to prove, and I think he's got a little left in the tank. But I think this season's weird, and we got to have one really weird upset, and this one is tailor-made. In a 3-game series, this is tailor-made for the situation where if something fluky happens in game 1, Walker Buehler pitches a great game 1, gets pulled for the bullpen, and they screw it up and blow game 1, it could very well be curtains right there. That could very well do it in for them. And the trump card in this whole situation of random bullshit that could happen here is we are still talking about Dave's point here. He goes, I don't think Dave Roberts could screw up, but all I have to say is Dave Roberts. Yeah.
Even on the extra, you get the meme in, buddy. I like it.
Yes. All I have to say is Dave Roberts. Dave Roberts, you can do this. Walker Buehler, pull him after a pitch. Pull him after 1 inning. He can be perfectly healthy. You can play 4D chess on this right now. You can start your closer. Pitch him 1 pitch, then do Walker Buehler, pitch him 1 pitch. Actually, I think you have to do the 3 batters now, right? They changed the rules, didn't they?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, okay, fine. Give him the 3 minimum batters and then pull him. And then bring in Kershaw. Pull him. In fact, use all your starters in game 1 and then pull him. Do it. 4D chess time. Woo!
All right. You know what? I wouldn't be completely shocked if that prediction comes true, Carlos. But I said I wouldn't be completely shocked if that prediction came true. But,
I think you'd be completely shocked if he literally ran through every single starter in game 1.
You never know. All right, Carlos, the second half of this bracket. Cardinals versus Padres.
Yeah, I think the Padres are sick this year. Looking at that card angle, I think we're going to find out. Your point that you made about Fernando Tatis and about specifically Padres players and Atlanta players, it's hard to find undervalued assets because Tatis has already been going crazy lately. Although Manny Machado, I think maybe he's got some room. I kind of want to see what happens with the Padres playoff run. And I feel like it's so random. This season is built for that kind of a thing. I think the Padres advance. Because that team can get
I agree.
Really
I don't see
in a very short period of time.
Yeah, I don't see any reason why they don't.
Yeah.
I think they're a better team than the Cardinals. I think they've consistently been a better. I mean, I'm pretty sure I should check this, okay? But I'm pretty sure that they have the best record in the National League, the second best record in the National League.
They very well could.
Right? I'm just, of course, my internet is because I'm doing 18 things at once, not wanting to load. But I'm pretty sure they have, other than the Dodgers, they have the second most wins. So the Padres are stacked. They went, for broke at the trade deadline. So I think Padres win this and quite easily. So that gives us
San Diego
a second round series. Atlanta has 37 wins. Dodgers had 43. Yeah.
Dude, are you seriously deaf? I was yelling at you.
I'm listening.
Okay. So I already said the San Diego thing. Yes, they had the second best record. I agree.
Okay. So.
Yeah. Your picture is digitized.
The Dodgers. Okay. Can you hear me now? Is it better now?
Yes, it is.
Okay. I've just turned off the football game since it's halftime, so hopefully that will help.
Yeah, give it a second.
Okay, so the next.
Okay, go ahead.
So the Dodgers and the Padres in the second round. Personally, I think if there's going to be an upset for the Dodgers, this is when it's going to come. It's going to be against the Padres. But I actually, before I even thought of this, I said, "What's my World Series matchup?" And I came up with something, despite looking at the bracket. So I'm going to pick the Dodgers, but I'm not surprised at all. In any way, shape, or form, if the Padres beat the Dodgers in the second round.
All right.
You are picking. So you've got Milwaukee Padres. Who are you picking?
Padres.
Yeah, I didn't think that was going to be.
No.
All right. So sorry.
No, I'm saying in right now the way they're set up, I had Milwaukee advancing just because I think there has to be that one random big upset. But if that happens, then they play a Padres. I like that. I like that lineup.
Yeah. Okay. So our next one is Chicago versus Miami. Chicago's been kind of reeling lately. They did end up winning the division. But you know what? This is where I'm going to pick the upset, Carlos. And I'm actually going to take the Miami Marlins to beat the Chicago Cubs.
Mm-hmm.
You are picking?
Well, the thing is, I don't think it's that much of an upset. I joke about the New Orleans Saints, but the Chicago Cubs are literally the case study in garbage, 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 garbage. We won the World Series after 100 plus years. Garbage, 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 garbage. They're in the playoffs, but man. I feel like Miami, I want to pick the Cubs, but I just don't trust the Cubs. I genuinely do not trust the Chicago Cubs. So I'm going to pick Miami just because I feel like it would be great if they went to the owner's box and then they showed Derek Jeter being like, but I torpedoed this team. I sent all their good players to the Yankees. I mean, made the best deal I could for Miami. How are they here?
Yeah, really, eh?
Yeah, but holy crap, man. If you were trying to convince me that Derek Jeter was a double agent just trying to help the Yankees, yeah, let me send you Giancarlo Stanton. For what? Send me a bucket of baseballs or something. It'll be fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
They need 59 home runs. Yeah, don't worry about it. It's fine.
All right. So that's who you've got. Yeah. And I've got. And then the last series is the Braves versus the Reds. I think the Reds have some good starting pitching, which could make the series interesting. I think it goes 3 for sure. But I'm going to take Atlanta because I think they have the better roster overall. And I think, they've been consistent all year. They've been consistent for a while. But then again, the Braves are the Braves. So I'm going to pick them.
Right. See, you took the joy out of this because I wanted to be contradictory. The thing is, Cincinnati's kind of there randomly. They're one of those teams who are there because of this format and this opportunity presented. And Trevor Bauer has pitched very well for them. And totally. He's been very entertaining if you've watched any of his vlogs and stuff. He's actually gotten a lot of content mileage out of this, which has boosted his personal stock for his social media and a bunch of other things as well, in addition to pitching well. But I do think Atlanta is a team that was kind of on the rise in the come up last year. And they've just taken a step forward, even though they don't have Mike Soroka. But I still think they should make a little bit of noise in the National League this year, especially with the format and the way this is.
Yeah. So you're picking the Braves too, then?
Yeah.
Well, they got Ronald Acuna Jr. too, buddy.
No, I understand. But what I'm trying to say is they had him last year. Last year he was almost a 40-40 guy. And this year he had a couple of struggles, a couple of injuries, but still put up decent numbers in relatively short sample size, like everybody else. Everybody got hurt by the sample size. But it feels like now they take another step forward. This is an opportunity to take another step forward, and they're the kind of team that should take another step forward.
All right. So Miami versus Atlanta in the NLDS. I think it's an interesting matchup, actually. It'll be entertaining, but I don't think it's much of a series, and I'm going to take Atlanta.
Now, this is a weird one because this is in the NLCS here now, right?
NLDS.
Oh, the DS still. Okay, fine. Yeah, okay, fine. So Atlanta should be able to advance that. That's another step forward in the progression. When we get to the next round, I think it's going to be a little more interesting. But I think for this round and this matchup, Atlanta's good. Okay, so
I'll let you go first. You have Atlanta and the Padres in the NLCS. Who are you taking?
Now if this comes to pass, this is an exciting NLCS because there's a lot of the future involved in this. You've got Ronald Acuna on one side. You've got Tatis on the other side and Manny Machado and a lot of these young guys that are on that team. Very, very interesting. And from the card market standpoint that I like to look at, an opportunity for some serious freak out because holy crap. Whoever advances, then at that stage, one of them has to go to the World Series. So one of them is holy crap. In this scenario, you know what? I'm going San Diego.
Okay.
Put them in the World Series. Let's do it. The ghost of Tony Gwynn will carry you to victory.
All right. So, Carlos, you have the Padres versus the Twins in the World Series. And
the greatest World Series ever.
I have an Atlanta Dodgers World Series. I think we've seen these teams play each other before. I think the Dodgers are just better. Even though, again, I think it could easily be a Padres Braves. So I'm going to pick the Dodgers. So I have a Dodgers A's World Series. So neither of us have the same pick teams in the World Series, which I think will be interesting. Because, someone's going to maybe be right. We could also both be horribly wrong, of course. That's always a possibility. Carlos, Padres Twins, who wins it?
So this is the time. So we're talking Padres Twins. So this is the time when the second wave hits and we never have the World Series. It's done. It's over. Nobody wins. No one wins.
I mean, that was your original prediction, when baseball started up again.
Well, people who remain unnamed, plus the lightning bolt in the background if you were paying attention during that sound. But all the omens were that we were going to get to the end. It's like the baddest omen that you could possibly have just to start off. So it's I'm shocked we've even gotten this far. And anything beyond this is a bonus, a weird bonus. But okay, fine. So in that scenario, Padres and Twins, I like what the Twins are doing, but in that case, I'm going to give it to the young guys. I'll give it to the Padres. Although Nelson Cruz winning the World Series at age 40 would be kind of interesting. I give it to the Padres, Fernando Tatis, and all of a sudden, rookie cards to the moon.
Yeah. All right. So Padres, Carlos is taking Padres. And so, Carlos, here's my thing, right? Obviously, it's always probably going to be a little tainted based on my Dodgers fandom. But here's my thing, Carlos. If they don't win it this year, right, with all the craziness that's going on in 2020, they will never win the World Series in my lifetime.
Yeah.
All right. So you got it, buddy. Here it is. I'm writing it down.
He's doing it.
Dodgers for the World Series win. Because somehow Dave Roberts doesn't manage to fuck it up, even though he's managed to fuck it up the last couple of years.
So look forward. You can all now look forward to the obvious future of the Cincinnati Reds and Toronto Blue Jays World Series. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. holding the World Series trophy and the World Series MVP. We're all wrong, but I still laugh because I have a stack of Vladimir Guerrero Jr. rookie cards off in the distance.
So basically, it's like okay, we should just done at the beginning. We'd be like, all right, Carlos. Before I make any picks, whose rookie card do you have here that you're hoping goes up in value? And then just make the picks that way.
Dave, if I had wanted to do that, I could have tried to shoehorn the Blue Jays. If I had done that, I could have shoehorned the Blue Jays and the Braves into the World Series in a rematch of 1992, so that I could have some Ronald Acuna, which I do have a little bit, and Vladimir Guerrero Jr., which I want to dump some of it, to be honest with you. So I mixed that up. And it'd be like, all right, guys, one of you has to do this. Do not Jamie Benn this. Fix it. I don't care which one of you does it. Fix it.
Yeah. We shall see.
Yeah, when it comes to these brackets, though, I tend to pick what I actually think. Just the way those matchups laid out, the way that bracket went, and you show. And this is why sometimes you'll come up with some weird results, because it's like, I'm just looking matchup by matchup. As you go through the bracket, I'm like, okay, this team and this team, and it's a rock, paper, scissors thing. Like I said, the whole 3-game first round completely throws a monkey wrench into this, because you could have something as weird as a Jays-Reds World Series for no other reason than whatever happens in the first round could totally put a wrench in this. The Yankees could lose in the first round. The Dodgers could lose in the first round. All these teams could be gone in the first round. And then what happens? And then it all goes into disarray, and you have no idea where you're going to go.
Yep.
And then suddenly everything's in play, and you're like, well, if you're still in it, you got to get past this first round. But if you survive,
yeah,
you could win. Why not?
So true.
Yep. So we'll see. So that'll be it for this kind of Unnecessary Nonsense podcast extra. So you can enjoy that. And then when we do get to the regular podcast, you can also look forward to us having a chuckle. I'll let you know in advance. One of the things I'll be talking about is somehow the Atlanta Falcons blew another lead. And they needed Nick Foles to go in and save them. Save them again. 20-0 in the fourth quarter.
Hey, man, I will enjoy that conversation because you know how much I love the Atlanta Falcons blowing leads. So I'm right there with you.
You need to fold the franchise at this point. You've blown back to – you gave up the onside kick. And by the way, I'm not spoiling anything, everybody. Trust me, I have a lot more material. This is a short version. You blow the onside kick against the Cowboys in a game that you almost mathematically cannot lose. You did it. And then you got outscored 20-0 in the fourth quarter against the Chicago Bears, where they had to bring in Nick Foles because Trubisky was so bad. You blew a 16-point lead in the fourth quarter. How? Why?
Yeah.
Where? And this is the same coaching staff that blew the 25-point lead in the Super Bowl. I told this to Roberto. He had no context, and he was just like, huh. That was his response. That's all. There was no response you could give.
Yeah.
If you're an Atlanta Falcons fan, Godspeed. Get a new team. All right. I'll leave you all with that. So that's a little Unnecessary Nonsense podcast extra. And also, historically, the first podcast extra that Dave actually showed up for.
This is true. This is true. This is the first time for everything, man.
So 2020. It's all new shit.
It's true.
Get ready for your Cincinnati Reds Jays World Series. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Do it for me.
With special first pitch thrown out by Ric Flair. Woo!
Probably. Maybe you can be watching while you're wearing the new shoes. Get on it.
Maybe, man. Maybe.
On it. All right. We'll catch you all in the next regular podcast. Thanks very much. iTunes, Spotify, Google Play for the regular podcast. Otherwise, go to the YouTube channel, subscribe to this show. Do it. See you later.